Hi, this is Tim of the 1916 Company. Welcome and thanks for logging on. If you love this watch, email me, Team Mosso at the1916company.com for purchase pricing and availability questions concerning this watch. And this watch is hot off the presses for 2026. From Tudor, it is the Black Bay Chronograph 39 Bumblebee. The aesthetic explains the name, but what's important to know here is that unlike the Chrono Pink or the Flamingo Blue, both of which preceded this in the Daring sub-collection, this watch is smaller and more compact than a standard Black Bay Chrono. So dimensionally, this watch is 39 in diameter. I measure it 13.3 thick and 47 lug-to-lug, exactly what Tudor claimed. Their measurements are fairly true to their claims, and I admire that. 20 millimeters is the spacing between the lugs. We'll bring in Sammy the scale for a quick weigh-in, because you're probably wondering, is this still a substantial watch at 39 millimeters? And the answer, as you can see right here, is it absolutely is. That is a weighty watch. Considering it's not precious metal and it's not huge, it is substantial on the wrist, though it is not excessive on the wrist. My 16 centimeter circumference wrist wears this watch far better than it ever did the Chrono Pink or the Flamingo Blue. Those were 41 millimeter watches that were 14.4 millimeters thick and 50 lug to lug. Again, this is 13.3 thick and 47 lug to lug to go with its 39 millimeter case. Although it has the same movement on the inside, Tudor has done a great job of shrinking the watch around the MT5813 caliber. So I can now rate this watch for a wrist as small as 14 centimeters in circumference, and although it does have a little bit of an overlap of the bezel beyond the case, it should slide underneath most cuffs, even tight shirt sleeves. We have a little bit of a nod to the way Rolex and Tudor used to share bracelet designs, but what I like here is that they haven't leaned too heavily into the vintage aesthetic. While the design is clearly derived from the Rolex Oyster, it doesn't have the skeuomorphic rivets, which were, for many, too cute by half. So this is a modern bracelet. Taking a look at the links, they are individually redoubtable, solid, and the removable ones are fixed by screws. You can see that on both sides. We do have quite a few removable links built into this bracelet. Now the clasp features a clamshell mechanism, and you can see both external and internal ceramic spring-loaded pin snaps. So the rather thick gauge clasp snaps into place, but the steel can't wear down the ceramic, and the clamshell lock can't wear down the ceramic. So over time, the snappiness and this tolerance will remain super tight and just as it was when it left the factory. Inside the clasp, you see we've got the T-fit system, which is approximately 8 millimeters of incremental adjustment on a sliding rack. It's very similar to Rolex's Glide Lock, and if I may opine, it feels a little bit more solid in its latest iterations than in the original versions that launched several years back. So again, tangibly improved, always good, now great. Contrast between satin and polish, you'll see it on the bracelet as well as on the case. The clasp, we have screw-down crowns. All this is 200 meters water resistant. We have a dramatically boxed and cambered sapphire designed to evoke a vintage plexi outboard on an anodized aluminum vintage style insert. We have a tachymetric scale, which can be used in conjunction with the chronograph seconds hand to gauge the speed of an object, such as a car around a racetrack, or if you're good with mental decimals, it could be runners around a course or even boats in regatta, but primarily things moving very fast. So we have a watch with a Bumblebee dial, both black and yellow, but in the dark, it is luminescent, and you can see it's green by night, yellow by day. We have the distinctive vintage-inspired snowflake Submariner hands that you would have seen on Tudor Submariners in the late 60s through mid-70s. And in an upscale flourish, you can see here that the indices are blackened applique rather than printed features. We have nicely countersunk sub-registers, each with a little bit of an azurage concentric pattern inside, and then polished chapter rings outboard. We have a black on yellow printing with a vintage chapter ring style aesthetic, although this doesn't lean into the chapter ring as much as some other Black Bays. This feels a lot more contemporary. Now we've got a simple balanced dial layout. Although this movement is based on the Breitling B01, there are quite a few changes made outwardly and inwardly by Tudor. The most obvious outward one here is that we've got a twin register dial, and the minute counter goes up to 45, not 30 as on the Breitling variant. You can see we do have hacking seconds. It's a 4 hertz beat rate. We've got a quick set date to rapidly cycle the date. We have screw down chronograph pushers here, so let's screw them out now. Nothing to see on the case back, but MT5813 sits on the inside. It's a Breitling B01 with modifications. Let's focus on the function here. We have a column wheel for actuation. And the B01 column wheel has always been one of the best in the business for feel and sound. it's a real pleasure to operate. We also have a vertical clutch, so you can see because there's no play in a vertical clutch, when you start the chronograph, there's no jump or leap ahead as you would have with a lateral clutch. Also, if you like to leave your chronograph engaged full time, the vertical clutch ensures there is no additional wear or tear. So we have automatic winding here with 70-hour power reserve, a 4 Hz beat rate, 41 pivot joules, 5-position adjustment, COSC certified Swiss chronometer. Some changes made by Tudor here. First of all, the movement is decorated differently, so if you look at it, it doesn't outwardly look just like the Breitling version. You're going to have to take my word on that, but you're also going to want to know that there have been substantial mechanical changes, including Tudor's use of a free-sprung balance for more precise adjustment and better shock resistance, and because Tudor, through its Rolex parent, has access to silicone hairspring technology, this watch also has a silicone hairspring, so it is highly anti-magnetic. There is a lot to love with this movement, which is tank tough, and although it hasn't diminished in size, Tudor has done a better job of wrapping the Black Bay chronograph around the MT5813, and the result is a watch that is just as colorful and cheerful as previous Black Bay chronos, but a lot more wearable across the board. So reach out to Team Mosso at the 1916company.com for purchase and pricing details.